Welcome to BeerNet Radio. Listen to on every continent except Antarctica. BEER.NET.
Beer.
BeerNet Radio.
It's over. But
Well, we did last year. I would use the same link for like
oh,
but
I don't think I've ever done that. But
let's see how it goes today. Let me plug my light in real fast.
okay.
Let me make sure Jordan can get in.
Hello, Jordan.
Hello?
Hello, Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, Jordan.
Hey.
Welcome to.
There's a Google Meet link and then there's a Zoom link.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Biscuit, come here. I don't understand why there's that Google link. I think Google's just trying to confuse everybody by getting in on Zoom's action.
Because that's the first link that pops up if you go
I
to
know.
the calendar.
I know. I think.
It says join with Google Meet. Yeah, but I feel like it was always that way, no?
I don't know. Biscuit, always into everybody's business.
Yeah, if you just tell them to click on the Zoom link, not the Google, it should be fine.
Okay, cool.
Because I made that mistake at the very beginning. That's why I was late. As always.
As always. Well, welcome to BeerNet Radio. Who are we speaking with today?
Flying Embers. And Bill Moses is the one who co-founded Kevita and sold that to Pepsi for $230 million back in 2016. So
Well, that works well for him.
yeah. It's interesting that they changed the name, right? I mean, I wonder.
Still getting my equipment set up.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll get my mic.
You do, honestly, it doesn't make a lot of difference, but it does. You do sound better. It just is a little richer when you're on a mic and there's less echo. But it's honestly, I don't even think Jordan has his plugged in.
No, I do. I was trying to maximize my charge.
Maximize your charge.
Because my computer's not charging when I have the mic in. It goes into the same port.
We need to get you a bag of dongles.
Eat a bag of dongles.
Just to get a bag of dongles.
Hey Harry, for all of the ish that you've sent me, why haven't you sent me like a super nice light orb that I can look pretty on? So I can have
I definitely will do that, Jen. I had no idea that you needed more equipment because I've sent you so much equipment.
Where's your neon, Jen?
Yeah, I was about to ask. I don't see your neon.
Let me go get it.
Okay.
What does it say again? Jen's Jams?
Jen's Jams. I also bought one that says "Where's YY?" And why it actually unpacked it because it came over Christmas and he was furious.
Why was he furious?
He doesn't like attention or unwanted attention, at least. And as the youngest child, he gets ragged on a lot. I don't know if you know this, Jordan, but I tease people.
Yeah, but I would think that because he's your offspring, he would enjoy attention. Are you drinking a Zoa, Harry?
I have one every morning.
I thought you weren't a fan.
I power through the film.
Okay.
No, actually, Jordan, it has so much like B12 and stuff like that in it that I think that's what gives it that flavor. So I think it's just because it's so packed full of vitamins. And look, if Dwayne Johnson drinks it like he claims he does, then it's good enough for me.
It's actually Dwayne Johnson piss, and they just bottle it. They just can't.
I would gladly drink Dwayne Johnson's piss if it makes me look like Dwayne Johnson, and that's no cap. But congratulations, guys! We're almost at the finish line here on the summit, and like I said, I'm getting excited. This is where we shine, Jen.
I'm nervous, man.
You shouldn't be nervous. Everybody loves you. I'm the one that should be nervous. Look at me.
Well, you're not nervous, and that makes me more nervous.
Well, have you guys ever seen the movie Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And you know how he plays Howard Hughes, and he's just he gets gnarled, and he's drinking his own piss, and he doesn't come out of a room for 3 months, and he's just his beard's down to here, and he's filthy, and he has to go in front of a Senate hearing, and they take him out and they shower him up and clip him up, and he goes and he just gives a perfect performance. That's going to be me.
Okay.
I know I look like holy hell right now, but I have an appointment on Friday, which is today at 3:00 with Priscilla, and Priscilla has given me a full hour and a half to take. I told her, sharpen your shears, and she's going to just tackle this whole thing, the face, the hair, you
Take
know,
the sander to the nails.
she's going to take the,
Harry, how slowly does your hair and nails grow? Because if you get all of that cut a week ahead of time, I mean, especially all the B12 you're ingesting, it's going to look the same in a week.
Jen, how when you're my age, your hair doesn't, I could go 6 months without cutting my hair and have. It's just going to trim up a little bit. And, you know, my glasses are all bent up and crooked. I might have that fixed up. The Summit is good just to kind of clean yourself up because I haven't done it in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, it's probably time to invoke a little hygiene, bring some hygiene back.
I'm not going to know what to do with my hands. I'm going to be doing that on stage all the time.
Yeah. Right. Hey, where is my biscuit?
Jordan, I just want to show you. So this box came to my house over Christmas.
Come here.
Right. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't order anything like this. This is from Guangzhou province, or however you say it, in China. And it says Jenn Litz-Kirk, and I'm like, And you can see the little preview on the box says Jenn's Jam. And I open it, and indeed, just show you guys. Here, I'm about to break it.
Jenn's
Jams. And I was like, I didn't realize that we were like an actual radio DJ outfit now. Jenn's Jams. Jams. I'm like, where the hell am I supposed to put this, Harry? Like,
Jen, it's a mark
It's
of
like
my
a Comic
appreciation
Sans
and
font too.
oh, we do have somebody at the door. To BeerNet Radio.
Hey, Harry, nice to meet you. And Jen.
And likewise.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. And well, I think congratulations are in order. You've raised another 20 million, and I assume that is for expansion plans, because let's face it, it is not as cheap to go to build out to all 50 states anymore like it used to be. And it takes a village, right?
Yeah, no, I gotta say, I really underestimated, coming from the non-alc world, I really underestimated the amount of touch, needed for our wholesalers, our number one customer, know, and so it's a whole different game. It's a way more labor intensive, and I would say, you have to have a lot of different strategies around how we're managing your wholesaler and how you're managing the retailer, and and it's and the various classes of trades. But yeah, simply put, it requires a lot of people to turn on a market. And when you try to when you go to make a national play, you got to forward spend. You got to forward spend to really put the people in the street and touching wholesalers so that you can actually get the product on shelves.
Right. And that it is harder in the alcohol. And of course, you've been very successful in the non-alc world. And why is that? Why is it more harder in bev alc? Do you think?
Well, I think I think because we have 170 wholesalers, and I think when I was when we were doing 100 million of sales at Kevita, we had 15.
Right.
Right.
Little different animal.
And
Jen, why don't you introduce everybody so that I always like just to launch into everything, and I forget that maybe we should introduce people. I don't know. Cash me outside, right?
So we have Bill, who's the founder, of course, correct?
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
and I believe Liz Tomic just joined us as well.
Yeah. Hi, folks. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you are the other chief.
We
Basically.
have, yeah, we have a great team. I'm Chief Growth Officer, so focusing on all things commercial strategy and supporting Bill with key priorities here.
Right. And you came from ZX, right? Did you come directly from ZX, or was there something in between?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I was at CX. It was a great
Cool.
team.
Cool. Well, I'll get to that in a second because I'd love to know how what you've done there comes to bear on this other operation. And Bill, of course, what lessons there are from Kevita to apply here. But we talked about this in the story a bit, but just want to go for our listeners over why Beam, right? What of all strategics that I'm sure you talk to, right? Why them, A, and B? Does it mean anything as to how you operate or how you go to market, or is it simply at this point an investment from them?
Yeah. So, we met Beam and we had a great introduction to them. We sat down, we met, and we really found that the chemistry, first and foremost, the chemistry. How did their leadership team and our leadership team really communicate? What was the energy in the room? Do we think we could make good partners when things don't go according to plan, not only when they go according to plan? So for me, that was really the most important part of it. I would say that there's some PepsiCo connections throughout the organization. But Liz, why don't
It does seem like all roads lead back
to
to either
Pepsi.
Gallo or Pepsi,
Yeah.
right?
But Liz, good. Why don't you, advance that?
Yeah. I mean, I think we have a real shared vision on how do you continue to premiumize categories, make premium high quality drinks available in a lot of different channels. And they kind of have this shared view on how do you take a lot of that learning and craftsmanship of spirit and classic kind of amazing brands and start to move into faster cycle, faster turning RTDs or cans or single serve. And we just had a lot of shared view and a lot of nerding out on fermentation and brand building. So it was a great kind of natural fit.
Not to, this deal was just announced, and not to go too far into the future, but, I have to ask, does that deal necessarily preclude a different deal from happening down the road, or?
No, it doesn't. While we have the full intention of growing our partnership to whatever end, whatever successful end, there's nothing that necessarily ties one to the other.
Well, so Liz was talking about, these fast moving drinks that we've all been covering so much the last few years. I don't know how much you can break down, because obviously you guys have, some subcategories within your portfolio. What's the most, what comprises the bulk of sales? Is it the kombucha? Is it the seltzer or anything else? And what's growing the fastest?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for us, kombucha is, I would say, a majority of our sales to date. Closing the gap is our hard seltzers, and then of course the innovation that we went out last year with the wine spritzers, we think has a lot of promise this year. And Liz, you want to advance that as well? Okay.
Yeah, so I think kombucha is definitely where we started. Seltzers, great growth because it was the first year, so we've got some comps we have to cycle through, but we really believe that category is moving towards flavor differentiation, brand differentiation, premiumization. So we feel strongly that we'll continue to scale that business next year. And then as we kind of build the business, we really think about a platform. So if we know our consumers are craft, curious, flavor seekers, adventurers, we really want to think about different occasions and need states that they have and see what kind of big white spaces or opportunities we can jump into to meet a need. So wine is a great example. We have lots of wine making capability. Bill has a winery and has been a successful winemaker for a long time, and wine has a lot of problems to it. Bottle size, transparency of ingredients, ABV, single serve sessionability, you name it. So we said, well, why don't we try something in that space? It's also a great category to test online because you can ship to so many more states. So let's try a wine spritzer and just start learning there while we continue to focus our retail business. And then as we continue to look, Cocktails have a lot of problems with them too. Same thing, sugar, sessionability, quality of ingredients, and that category is doing a lot in the past year and will continue. So we'll try to figure out how we can play in there and meet those kind of cocktail occasions for our consumers.
When you say cocktail, would it necessarily be malt or spirits based? Are you looking into both, or?
I think you have to look at both. You got to figure out like what really is the pain that the consumer has. Do they want pure spirits with cleaner ingredients? Do they want more convenience so can get it in more channels? So early days trying to understand that, but I think just with the movement and the success of so many brands out there, you have to look at both.
Yeah, and I would say that our muscle is really fermentation first and foremost. So not distilling. So while we're really evaluating both, and we'll most likely come out with something this summer. I would lean more. We're leaning more into the F&B sort of category where we can actually really flex what our core competency is, which is really making some great fermented beverages. So important.
Well, Bill, you like we said, you come from the non-alc side. Why do you think the alc side has been kind of slow in coming to the transparency? Well, first of all, we don't have to, right? The alcohols don't have to put ingredients or be transparent, but we're beyond that. It seems like we've been a little bit slow in chasing that consumer that does look at labels and is concerned about the cleanness, as you say, of ingredients. Is there any reason why you think it's been slow? Is it technically difficult?
I think it's been slow because there hasn't been a regulatory body that requires it. So really, it's being pulled through by the consumer. It's really the consumer that's really demanding this. I think we, as a category, alcohol category, if you're deaf to those consumers and you don't listen to them, I think that you lose an opportunity of really engendering them as true loyal consumers that understand really what you're giving them. So I think it's all part of the new modern drinker and delivering a real brand that is trusted, that has transparency, that gives them comfort and confidence to buy you and continue to buy you. So I think it's the consumer that's really driving this trend.
Right. Right. I totally agree. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't look at labels these days, and you really don't know what's in most alcohol drinks. And I think it's a huge opportunity. And I think that's why you see some non-alc guys getting into alc, because it is a frontier. One last thing, and I don't want to hog the mic here, but of the new investment that you got from Beam and others, how much of that generally is going to be sales, and is there any for top line marketing, or is it all sales?
Well, no. I think, look, I mean, it's commercial, so we're looking to continue to fund our sales organization, and but certainly there is monies that are going to be applied to marketing. We do have what I think to be a relatively healthy marketing budget as it relates to our top line, and so we want to continue to build brand and spend money to meet the consumers. So it's a 50-50.
Our tap rooms, do you include that in marketing as well?
That's a really great question. We're fine tuning some things on some of our tap rooms. There is an allocation of our our G&A on our tap rooms that is being applied to marketing. It's not 100%. It's a separate sort of P&L for sure. But yeah, they're the beacons, right? They are the beacons of the brand, and making sure that our marketing team really provides the value added that's needed to really highlight these beacons is really important. So the short answer is a percentage of it is, yeah.
Okay. Are you looking to expand tap? I know you put one in Boston not too long ago, and that was kind of a big move for a kombucha company to go to the East Coast. Yeah,
sure. I mean, we currently have LA, we have Boston, we have an alternating proprietorship with Figaro Mont and Santa Barbara. We're opportunistic where there's an opportunity to partner with an existing brewery. That's always a really a win-win. I will say that in Boston and in LA, where they're wholly owned, we do make great beers that have great botanicals and great macros. So, and of course, we also have our seltzers there as well. So these brew houses aren't just kombucha. 50% of the handles are, but there's an assortment of other innovations that we bring to market, and we really use it as a testing opportunity. Going forward, again, being opportunistic will determine where and when. Right now, no plans.
Liz, I'm curious, coming from ZX Ventures, which of course is the innovation arm of Anheuser-Busch. How is it going from a huge company like that to more an entrepreneurial situation?
I think teaming up with Flying Embers and a founder like Bill Moses is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I was having an amazing experience at ZX. Fun to travel the world and invest and make bets in all new categories, but this was something really special. I think what's different is we have a lot of heavy lifting to do on our own. So there are no big muscles behind us to flex. So I think it's really around focus, prioritization. I think when I jumped on, you guys were starting the discussion around really thinking about our wholesalers as our number one customer and how do we partner with them to build a category, build a brand. So it's a lot more kind of day-to-day grind, making sure the small things are getting done.
Right, because one of the luxuries of being with AB is you have that dedicated distribution network that will run through walls for you, and so that part's kind of taken care of. You still have to get their attention, but it's not, you're already sold before it gets to the dock, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think our wholesalers now have been great kind of betting early on this category called hard kombucha, and it's we got their attention early, and now it's just like getting through each layer of scale, and as we get more and more chain points of distribution, making sure we're executing those quickly. So we think about on-prem, how do we capture a little bit of their attention when they're going and kind of reservicing that channel. So just working together, really simple execution playbooks and keeping share of mind.
Do you think there's a day where hard kombucha approaches anywhere near the share of seltzer? I'm sure you answer that question a lot.
No. I mean,
Just
look,
cold chain, right?
It's not, no, actually, not necessarily. I mean, I think as it relates to our product, we don't require cold chain.
Okay.
We still do have a live culture in the in the finished product, but the way our particular IP is that we're shelf stable, so we can force that. I mean, some of the others do, but they're all moving over. I mean, some of the competitors are moving over to be shelf stable. But look, seltzer is hard seltzer is it's once in a generational experience. It's and it's so sessionable, and it really met a consumer at the right time. And hard kombucha is more it's more the occasion is much more limited. It's really a dinner occasion. It's not that crushable. So you're not going to get the kind of velocity that you get with hard seltzer, but we are seeing that it is really having a go at competing with some of the older, more, let's just say, tired craft sort of established brands. And so we think there's a real place for it. I just don't think it's going to be as big as the hard seltzer. Liz, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the analogs are pretty obvious. Water, really big category, making a hard one, especially when light beer has had so many problems for so long with bloating and gluten. So that is a really unique beast. I think our job is not to try to bet if it's going to be the same size, but I think what we latch on to is more the insight of all of that fourth category and all of these aisles. And if you walk through a Bevmo or a Total Wine is just starting to merge, and it's really flavor stories, occasion, and the base of what the product is, I think is less and less important. So of course we have to think about category sizes, especially when we're thinking about our retail strategy and telling a story, but we mostly focus around what do consumers actually care about and how can we make a good one that's usually has better ingredients, lower carbs and sugar, and uses organic. So we're more focused kind of studying that piece than trying to get a category up to a certain number.
Right. So it sounds like, you guys are really dedicated to just trying to figure out what the consumer wants and giving that to them. In that vein, what about direct to consumer? Obviously, taproom is a direct to consumer. Direct shipping, you kind of mentioned earlier. How big do you think that component of your business could get to be eventually? Or do you want it? How big do you want it to get to eventually?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're obviously playing in the DTC space. We really are looking at ways of really ensuring that the retailer, their direct to consumer play gets supported. We have our own DTC play where we spend media to go directly to consumers, and ultimately the sum of which we're noticing really lifts all ships, including retailers. But it is a significant focus of ours in a way and form that is complementary across all classes of trade. But yeah, we're definitely focused there.
And where you guys do have, you said 170 wholesalers, are you typically aligned with Molson Coors, AB, any particular bigger wholesalers, multi-state wholesalers?
Yeah, I mean, I think we went with the best wholesaler that was appropriate for us, given where we were. So, the Reyes family were there in Southern California, Northern California, Florida, Sheehans from Virginia, Jersey on up, Lakeshore in Chicago, Benny Keith, and down in Texas and Columbia and the Pacific Northwest. So we think we touched, we would just like to think some of the best in the country.
Yeah. I'll let Jordan hasn't.
Well, just kind of jumping off that, what are some of your biggest markets outside of California? Where do you see hard kombucha growing, and just the Flying Embers brand and in general outside of California?
Sure. Well, I mean, specifically with hard kombucha, Colorado's really doing well for us. Oregon is showing some real life. North Carolina is a standout for us. Getting support, and I think that's primarily retailers. Retailers supporting us like Harris Teeter in North Carolina, Publix, and Lowe's in Florida, Wegmans in the Northeast. We're seeing some real opportunity up there. And HEB in Texas is really, so where we're getting really strong retailer support is where we're finding our consumer, and the consumer's finding us.
That's interesting. And I think sometimes people who don't have a lot of experience in the beverage industry miss that part. they miss the part about getting into chains, which I think is pretty crucial, and sometimes they miss the part about even getting good distribution. But so now you got this big investment. You're going to invest in sales and marketing above the line. Do you feel like there's kind of the pressures on now that you do have partners that have put in some cash?
Well, yeah, I mean, when we look at certain key retailers that have been super supportive, like, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Costco, we're now seeing a lot of our competitors showing up there. And of course, one brand doesn't make a category. So we really want to see other brands show up. But when you go from 1 or 2 to 6 or 7, and, you're not necessarily, getting the consumers to meet that shelf space, that really puts pressure on and how we really continue to differentiate ourselves. So recently earlier this week, we had the leadership of Sierra Nevada, June Shine, Boochcraft, ourselves, the 4 main players in the hard kombucha space, actually get together and talk about ways that we could align and collaborate to really build the category, how we could unify on messaging, et cetera. So yeah, pressure's on to really continue to differentiate ourselves and win in a more and more competitive market. Yeah, so I simply put.
Yeah, I think answering your question specifically on is the pressure on with the investment. I think we've been lucky to have a lot of investors in from the beginning. So the pressure has always been on, and we just really try to focus on the day-to-day business building, continuing to find more efficiencies, free up more cash flow to support commercial. But we're all kind of in this to build a business and build a category, and we have a great patient investor group.
All right. Well, is there anything like what's next for Flying Embers?
Yeah, I think delves nicely into the question on how big can the category be. I think we really believe hard kombucha is a great starting point to brew flavorful, fruit forward drinks. So we're going to keep pushing that. But I think there are a lot of other really big, interesting categories that we can touch. So I think, to Bill's point, we're going to continue to fine tune what wine spritzers mean to us. We're going to figure out how we can meet kind of a need and play in the cocktail space, and continuing to build a brand that is known for kind of those premium drinks across occasions. So we've got a lot of tactical day-to-day brand building execution to do, and then continue to think how we're going to scale this and figure out kind of a platform of products. So every day kind of toggling between those two lenses is the focus.
Right. And one other thing I want to add, thanks, Liz, is that, some of our senior advisors and Nick Lundquist, who's our head of sales now, they took me to school on craft and how long it took craft to really matriculate. It was a 20-year process with some challenges in 95, 96 with quality. So while we're all looking for the next hard seltzer phenomena, right? Really, I think patience and perseverance and focus is really the name of the game in whatever category we go after. I think the get rich quick sort of, I think orientation or focus by other brands isn't really part of our culture or our thinking. So it's a street fight, it really is. Every store, every POD, is really requires effort like nothing else, I think, in CPG as it relates to the alcohol space. It is, like I said, I think it's a street fight, and we're prepared to deploy resources and really, have the focus and tenacity and endurance to win the long game.
Right. That's well put. And it kind of it makes the barriers to entry a little higher, so that's good. But like you said, it's a street fight, and everybody's fighting for the same precious space, and it makes it kind of fun, though, right?
Yeah. Well, for a certain mindset, it's great for our, and I think the leadership team and the culture that we've built is really one that is, we're super competitive. We want to win. We look at everything as a W or an L, and we want to have a lot more W's and L's next to each KPI. And yeah, it really is. It's really great. So.
Well, I tell you, my co-host here, Biscuit, has gut issues, and she's just a big fan of Flying Embers, and has one every evening with her dog chow. I hope I'm joking. I don't mean to demean the brand. Sometimes my little jokes are like, what an asshole. He feeds it to his dog. Jeez.
Peter's gonna show up to our summit now.
The pet, the animal pet food and space is plenty big. It might be an opportunity for us.
You never know. All right, great. Well, Jennifer, do you have anything else?
Nope, not today.
Oh man, Jen. I think Jen's looking forward to the weekend already. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on, Bill and Liz. It's very informative. And listen, good luck to you. I think it's exciting. I think it's a huge opportunity for that space. Premiumization, better for you. And you're not just like every other seltzer. You're in the booch, man. Hey, booch me. How about booch me out instead of
Welcome
smoke
to the
me out?
marketing team. Perfect.
Yeah. Don't smoke me out. Booch me out.
Oh my God.
I don't know if Jen, you may not get that reference. It's a reference to marijuana.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Right. Okay.
I will say I'm a fan of the pineapple chili. So
Thank
I will
you.
just put that out there. Yes.
Nice.
Teach me that.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank
All
you
right.
guys. This is a great opportunity to chat with you.
Cheers.
Likewise.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
you.
thanks for drinking beer and booch, and we'll talk to you all down the road.
Bye, folks.
All right. Bye-bye.